Good evening, everyone. Be welcome to Evening with Gelda program. Today, I would like to present you a loved person and a great poetess. I'm talking about Lynn Luiz. Mary is a poetess, author, and writer. She's also regional director membership and PR based in USA for Motivational Strips, one of the world's most active writers forum. She's the founder of Inspiration Through Love and Light Poetry Forum, author of poetry book My Poetry is My Legacy, and 4 ebooks of poetry, co-author of Fragrances of Love and Faith, author of many poems in several anthologies. She has been featured on talk shows, in magazines, and other publications. Her poetry has been translated into many languages. Her awards are many. The Order of Shakespeare Medal, Global Literature Guardian, Gujarat Sahitya Academy Literary Excellence at par with global standards, Nehru Arts and Science College Certificate of Appreciation, March 2021, and Certificate de Reconhecimiento a Poetas del Mundo, March 2021. Co-author of Amazon bestseller Poets Unify World, June 2021. Her motto is love God, love people, and change the world with your words. Wow! It's an excellent bio indeed. Dear poetess, it's a great pleasure to receive you today. Come on, let's start our interview. Mary, what place poetry has in your life?
Hi, I am so glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's my pleasure. Well, as all of you know, I put God first in my life, and then after that comes my family. Yes, I love my family. And then comes my poetry family. Oh my, yes. Poetry is very, very important in my life. I spend a lot of time with my poetry, in poetry groups, and encouraging other poets as they begin their journey in poetry. It is a great pleasure to be able to help and to encourage. And, in life we have so many experiences and things that we want to capture in poetry. So yes, poetry is very, very important to me. I hope I answered that question. As I did it as best I could.
If I say poetry is a reflection of one's life, do you agree? Can you state an example?
Oh yes, very definitely. I believe that poetry is a reflection of our lives. You know, I wrote my first poetry book called My Poetry is My Legacy. And that is one of the reasons that I wrote the book, is for my legacy. And, we have so many people that love us, so many people that know us, they think they know us. But even the closest people to me, even my family, some of my family, they don't really know me. And now I have a great granddaughter that's only 6 months old. And I am 76. I hope to live another 30 years and be able to watch her grow up and to communicate and talk with her. But, you know, that may not be possible. And if it isn't, then she will have my poetry book. And she will get to know me better than she would probably any other way. Because unless you read my poetry, you really don't really know me. Not really. My poetry comes from deep within inside. And yes, it is a reflection of my life. And I think it is that way with most of us poets. So yeah, very definitely, poetry is a reflection of our lives.
Which poets have inspired you?
Oh my, poets that I admire and that have influenced me. Oh yes, the very first poet that really influenced me was Edna St. Vincent Millay. Her poetry just went straight from my head to my heart. And I enjoyed it so very much. It was so meaningful. It was profound, and yet it was simple to understand. It gave you a lot to think about, about life and how you wanted to live your life. So yeah, I really liked her. I loved Robert Frost very much, and even Edgar Allan Poe. And they are so very different. So, you know, it just depends on you and your personality which poets will influence you. So the best thing to do is just start reading them. And these are the ones that really influenced me.
Do you believe that poetry can adapt anything into it? Can you please explanation?
Oh yes. I think poetry can adapt any subject into it and be very effective. You know, when I was growing up, there were a lot of things in poetry and in our lives that were taboo. We could not speak about them. But now, you know, we are more open, and things in our society, our causes, our passions, we can help to influence others with our poetry. Our causes, such as mine, you know, some of my causes are abortion. Oh my. I, you know, hope that some of my poetry will cause people to think about this. And also the abuse of women and women's rights. This is very important to me. And this is very adaptable into our poetry. Our earth, our climate, our politics, our society, our morals, everything, I think, can be adapted into poetry. And each poet does it in their own special way. So, yeah, I really take the opportunity through poetry to bring new thoughts and ideas to the mainstream reader. Thank you. I hope I answered that.
What's your opinion about the contemporary poets?
Oh, as far as contemporary poets, I love them. Oh, I really do. It's such a joy to read them now and to know that they are writing from their hearts. They're not afraid to tackle any subject now. And I'm very pleased about that. I love the older poets, you know, what we call I don't know, standard poets or whatever, but the contemporary poets of today just are so open. They really are. And I am so glad to see that. Because where before, we didn't speak our minds, we didn't take on certain subjects, we do that now. We really do that. And I think it's very helpful. Because where in the past, a lot of things were just kind of swept under the rug and left. That's not true anymore. And I'm so glad to see that. I really, really am. So yes, I have great respect for the contemporary poets of today and of tomorrow, because as we are interacting with each other, we are now becoming contemporary poets.
How do you see the new generation of poets?
Oh, I see the new generations of poets as just really impacting the world and social media in such a great way. I mean, we have so many forums and so many platforms, and we have the internet and Google and YouTube and all that we can reach so many more people than what we used to could. So yes, I am just thrilled about the new poets and the new generation of poets. I think they are wonderful. They really are. And anything that I can do to encourage and help people, I just would really like to do that. That is my honest desire, is to see new poets come full round and succeed in what they're trying to do. Yeah, I love the new poets.
Which Facebook poets do you follow and why?
Oh my goodness. Oh no. I follow so many poets on Facebook. Just really love them. I have so many. So I can't even begin to start naming names. That would not be very good, because just as sure as I did, I would forget somebody who was very, very important to me. I have a lot of them that I follow, and for different reasons. Sometimes I like somebody who really makes me challenged to think profoundly. Sometimes I just want to be encouraged, uplifted, and just enjoy a simple poetry, a beautiful poetry, ! So I go to that poet that I know that's the way they normally write. And then there are those that write differently than I do. They have different styles, They challenge me to write things that I've never written before. I love to do that. I love to learn, so I will hunt those too. A new style, a new challenge. Oh yeah. There are so many poets on Facebook, beautiful poets that you can learn from, share with, and please, excuse me, don't be afraid to leave your feedback. Every poet, it's important, your feedback. If you really like what you read, then be sure and comment and tell them so. If you don't like it, don't say anything at all. Just leave it alone. That is really what you should do. But honest feedback to a poet, they really do appreciate it, because it helps them to grow and to do better. I am always trying to improve. And when I get good positive feedback, then I know I'm doing something right. Not to say that I write to please everybody, because I don't. I write what's in my heart and what my pen chooses to write. And hopefully people will like it. So yeah, we will leave that list of Facebook poets right here in my heart, because the ones that I like, you may not like, and the ones that you like, I may not like. So just go on there, find the ones that you really like, and invest in learning from them. That's my advice.
What's your advice for those who would like to start in the field of poetry?
Well, the very first thing is to pick up your pen and write. You know, write from your heart. Be passionate about it. And it's not a once in a while thing, it's an everyday thing. Choose to write every day, even if it's just a little bit, you know. Just write. Write whatever you comes to your mind. You know, you can be inspired by so many things. You can be inspired by other people's writings. You can be inspired by nature, by a photograph or a picture, anything, or a smile on somebody's face. There are just so many ways to be inspired. And once you start writing and start putting it down on paper and letting the ink flow, it becomes easier and easier to do. So that is my advice, is just write. And when you do that, you will become more known, it will become easier, and you'll develop your own style. And that's very important, that you develop your own style, your own uniqueness in the way you express yourself. That's my advice. I hope that answers your question.
Poetess, do you think the network platforms are helping new writers?
Oh, I definitely think that the networks are helping us as poets to reach the world. You know, it used to be we could only reach those that were around us, but now we have the whole world available to us. And the more we write, the more we interact with other poets, the world gets smaller. It really does. I love the fact that I can read poets from all over the world, and I learn from them. I learn their customs. I know their way of talking. They'll write about their villages and what they do, the fruits and their customs. I just love it. And so anyway, but I'm a learner, so I really love to learn. And I think that the networks are really bringing the world closer, that the platforms such as YouTube, the internet especially, Facebook, all of these things, they just help us to interact with one another, and the world just becomes so close. I love it. Yeah, I think they really are helping us a whole lot.
And now, finalizing our interview, if you don't mind, could you recite one of your poems for all of us now?
Oh, I would love to read one of my poems for you, yes. This poem was chosen to be in the new book that is Amazon bestseller now, Poets Unified World. So the poem of mine that was chosen to go into that was I Wept When. So I will read that one for you. And this one was written from my heart. And when we were talking about poetry being a reflection in your life, this is one of the examples of it. So if you'll listen closely. As a child, I wept when those I loved died. Why? Because of selfish motives. I would miss them. As a teenager, I wept because I was afraid of dying. Why? Because of selfish motives. I wanted to experience life. As a young adult, I wept because I wanted to find a good job and to make a mark in the world, not die. Why? Because of selfish motives. I wanted to prove my worth and satisfy my ego. As a parent, I wept when I had my child. I didn't want to die. Why? Because of selfish motives. I wanted to see them grow up and have a good life and know that I had done a good job raising them. As a mature person, I wept because of the time I wasted fearing death. Why? Because selfish motives and egos were gone. Now I realize that all that matters is my relationship with God and my love for my fellow man. Let me turn this over. Oh, foolish human, God said to me, you wept for nothing at all. Why? Because of my love for you and the plans I had for you, for your life. They were in you before the foundation of the world. For this moment in time, you are mine. As a child of God, I am not afraid of dying at all now. Why? Because my dying, I will be reborn from mortality into immortality, forever to be free. I hope you enjoyed that poem. It really speaks of the way I really feel about things. And, you know, I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, I have really enjoyed being with you. I appreciate your listening to me, and I hope that I have answered all of your questions and that you have enjoyed this. So with that, I am just going to say, I love you, and remember, love God, love people, and change the world with your words. Bye-bye.
Wow, it was really a great moment with you. And my gratitude and admiration for you have shared some of your knowledge with us. Okay, thank you so very much. And you guys, you know, we have a meeting on the next Sunday, okay? See you there.